Hey everybody, Mean Joe from Balsa USA. So again, we are in the midst of the Toledo 2020 experience, and now we're going to have a little conversation with Steve Thomas from Falcon Props. Thanks a lot for coming on the show today, Steve. We are glad you could make it.
Hey, you're welcome. It's always good to see you. Sorry it's in these circumstances, but the good news is that it's Julie's birthday today, and we're not in Toledo for the first time.
Oh no!
I know,
Happy birthday, Julie!
but the bad news is, of course, we can't go anywhere.
Oh, what a bummer!
So
We sang her
in
a good
Toledo.
song, and she got a cake last year at the scale
Yeah,
banquet. So we'll just have
yeah,
to make it doubly embarrassing for her next year.
that's right. Well, let's hope by this time next year we're back to normal.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I think we're going to be all right. I think everything's
yeah,
going to move forward fairly quickly with this.
yeah,
They got
yeah.
lots of people with much bigger brains than both of us combined working on it. So I think we'll be all
Absolutely.
right. So
Yep.
So part of what we have, and I know you guys that have been following us all day kind of know, but anybody that's joining us new is what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a little bit of the Toledo experience online. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are missing Toledo and are upset that they can't be there. So I wanted to take an opportunity to make sure we got on a lot of the vendors and a lot of people that you would see around Toledo event so that you could actually have RC conversations with them. So that's what this is all about. If you're just joining us, we're going to have several more all day today and all day tomorrow, and just stay tuned for that. So first of all, again, Steve Thomas from Falcon Props. I wanted to get a little bit of your backstory, Steve. How did you get involved in model RC?
Basically, it was a long, long time ago. I hate to say now, and it was through an uncle that was a Spitfire pilot in World War II. So he actually kindled my interest in aircraft, and he was an avid modeler himself. And basically, it's built on from there, from being, a hobby where I cut my fingers as everybody did with a balsa knife, and then years later became a business, and 40 years later we're here today. Incredible how quickly the time has gone.
Yeah, it actually does really go by pretty fast. I was talking to one of the earlier guests about I've actually only been involved heavily in the RC community for since 2011 was my first year as an actual full-blown AMA member.
Right.
So it's progressed relatively quickly.
Oh, yeah. You are
So
not kidding. I mean, over the last few years, the developments have been astounding. And it's just like the quality of the products. I mean, I was at Florida Jets the week before last, and you look at the quality of those aircraft, it's just amazing. You
oh
know,
yeah, the jet world has just gone nuts here in the last 2
it
years
has.
with all the ways and
Yeah,
all the things they have available to them now for the electronics that
yeah,
pilot them and all the way down to the retracts and everything they have is just incredible. That
that's
stuff is
right.
really amazing to me.
Yeah.
So I have an interesting story that I heard, and I've only gotten bits and pieces of it secondhand, but I wanted
It's
to make
probably
sure
not true. It's probably not true.
it's actually a good story, and I found it interesting. So,
Okay.
back a couple of years ago, I think it's been just over a year and a half now, we ran into the whole Solar Tex debacle,
Yeah,
where basically they pulled the plug on the whole thing. And
yeah.
I know Steve grew up in the UK and was actually very close to their facility and was telling us that he used to go over to their dumpsters and grab pieces that were scrapped and use them to cover his model airplanes a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, the company was based in Chorley in Lancashire, and we lived in Haworth in West Yorkshire. But basically, the two borders were very close, probably only, I don't know, 25 minutes away. And what we used to do, we used to knew the guys very well there at the time. And when they were making World Tex, which was the shiny um, Solartex product, what would happen is, when they were developing it, they'd make some mistakes. And what they would do then is they couldn't sell the product. So they used to literally just cut off, say, 50 yards of product and throw it in the bin. And we were there like hawks going in that bin. And pulling the product out. And
That
I remember at the time, and it's quite a long time ago now, so, the amount of covering we got was a fair bit. I remember covering a third scale Citavria in the Solatex that I got out of the bin. So, there was a few little mistakes and lines in it, but with a bit of skullduggery, you could easily make that work. Yeah, so I mean, it was sad. It was a great family business, but its time had come, and obviously they've closed down for good now, which is really sad because it really was an excellent product.
Yeah, I've still got several airframes here that were covered in SolarTex, and it was an amazing product. And I
Yeah.
just got a kick out of the fact that you guys could go over and get such a great product out of the trash. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
thought that
without
was
any
really
issue.
cool.
And we used to have a lot of fun with the guys in those days. I mean, going back, I mean, this was the father that we used to deal with, and then it was the son that actually closed the business down. But it really is one of those very skillful processes where they had everything in their mind, and literally to match the colours, they'd put final drops of colour in to get the correct shade. It was very sort of primitive in the way that it was done, but they still came out with a great product. But that was the reason why, if you bought a roll of Solar Tex this year and then it was 5 years later you tried to match it up, then it wouldn't quite match up. Not because it had deteriorated in any way whatsoever, but just because of the amount of pigment probably wasn't quite the same.
Right. You run into a lot of that with a lot of products. People
Yeah,
always talk about that with restaurants, but it happens
yeah,
a lot and not only just stuff like covering, but as well, like our balsa wood that we get in for our
yeah.
kits. There's variances depending on the current harvest and this and that and the other. There's all kinds of things that go into that. And I'm sure you guys see that type of change and differences in the wood that you guys use to make your props as well. So.
Well, we do, but I mean, on that side there, the process is very long because it starts off with us actually growing the trees. Um, so the process doesn't start with a piece of wood. It starts with a seedling, and the tree is planted, and X number of years on from that, just like balsa, we can harvest the tree and cut it down and then use it for the propellers.
That's very cool. That whole thing is, and I think about it often because in our hobby, the technologies, I just had Brian on from Dubro on the last segment, the
Right.
technologies that we have available to us and the way that process starts is
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
almost exactly the same as it was back in Wilbur and Warbur's day. That
That's right.
those parts of the basic chemistry of how we do things hasn't really changed that much.
That's
So
right.
it's
Well,
to me, it's amazing.
just on that point, we actually, for the World War I propellers, which have been very, very successful, we actually used some of the original profiles from World War I. We managed to get hold of them, and we put them into the modern form of the propeller. And when we did all the testing on them, they were like 0.1, 0.01 difference between our ultra modern propeller and the propeller going back to 1918. So
Wow.
those guys were just incredible at the time. The depth of skills that they had was just amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And I see a lot of that carrying out now, and that's why I think it's important that we all stay active out there so that we can make sure that people still understand what it is we're doing. So I
Yeah,
think that's,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think what you guys are doing there at Falcon is a great representation of how things have changed, but yet how they've all stayed the same too. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were talking about the quality. Obviously, when we make the carbon propellers, we can absolutely guarantee that every propeller is exactly the same because we use metal molds on them. We measure out the cloth to the milligram, to the ounce or whatever measurement you want to use. We do exactly the same with the resin that we use. So every single propeller comes out, exactly 100%. And that's
Right.
the reason why we get great performance off them, and it's consistent performance in compared with other manufacturers where they use a different process, and therefore you'll get a different level of performance between the same size prop, but a different propeller.
Right. And I actually was introduced to Falcon Props very early on in my RC career, and I won't use anything but Falcon Props. I've never put anything else on any of my airframes ever, just because the performance is far and above anything else I've ever tried.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that's really great, and I'm really pleased to hear that. But don't forget, we're the people that brought Zor propellers to the States as well, and it's exactly the same. I mean, we still sell as many Zor propellers as Falcon propellers.
Right.
Although just for the moment, Falcon propellers seems to have taken over as far as the media goes. But believe me, I mean, we still sell as many Zor propellers as we do Falcon propellers.
Right.
And once again, the quality of the product is absolutely second to none.
And I should correct that in saying that I use Zor products as well. Yeah. I always lump you guys into the same box. Yeah, so for those people that didn't know that Zor and Falcon are the same, I should have pointed that out. But for me, I use Zor as well.
Yeah, they are different companies, but we use the same wood, etc., etc. And Julie and I always laugh when we overhear a conversation where people are talking about the merits of both brands.
Right.
And they say, well, no, this is definitely better than that one. And this one, the quality of the wood's better. We use the same wood from the same forest.
Exactly. I get a kick out of that same thing because I still work for GM. And it's not as bad as it used to be, but I can remember the conversations of, like, say, Firebird and a Camaro. Back when they were still making the Firebird. They're built in the same exact facility. That car comes off the same line. So.
That's right. But I mean, one thing to say, I mean, in this climate where we are at the moment, that isn't ideal. I'd just like to personally thank all of our customers from the past and currently who are still ordering at the same levels as they were pre this virus issue. Julie and I have been amazed at the level of business that's been coming in. And I think the nice thing as well is that we've had a lot more phone calls recently. Instead of people just putting the order in on the internet and us filling it, sending it out, etc., loads of people have been talking to us. So it's been really nice just to catch up to date with some of the people that we supply on a regular basis, but we don't necessarily have any verbal contact with them. But once again, on behalf of Bob's Hobby Centre, Falcon Propellers, Zor Propellers, we are very grateful for your business, and we hope everybody stays safe for the future.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure we did this, because I wanted to make sure that all of us that are still here doing stuff made sure it was clear to everybody that we're still here. We're still going to be processing orders. We're still going to be shipping orders. Though it may take a little bit longer for shipping in this climate, we're still here, and we still appreciate everything that you do. Yeah. I'm supposed to tell you that Miami Mafia says hello. And that the radio requests are ready.
Okay. Do I owe him any money, or are we good?
Probably yes.
Yeah. If you ever need a car radio, then contact Marvin. He delivers overnight. He's as quick as Amazon. There's no boxes. They always come just without any box, but he sure can deliver overnight for you.
That's awesome. That's so funny.
Just on that point, I mean, those guys, Marvin, Kenny, all the guys down there, what a great contribution those guys make to the hobby. No matter where you go, if Marvin or Kenny are there, you'll always hear their laughter before you hear anything else. And, the fact that you're going to have a great event, but those guys are tremendous supporters of the hobby. They do a huge amount of good, and I'm glad that we've got them in the hobby. So,
and that's the thing, is the people like that, like to your point a minute ago of thanking the customers, that's the point about this whole thing, is that we do what we do because of you people out there watching. And we enjoy the events and the camaraderie just as much, if not more, than all of you guys. And same, just to mimic what Steve had said, we thank you guys all from the bottom of our heart for supporting the hobby and being out there to help us survive during these times. I know it's been tough on everybody, but I can see that you know what, Steve, I'm a little actually kind of worried. I told Mark this last night. I'm a little worried that the Joe Knoll in the fall is going to get out of control, because I know people by that point are going to be really itching to get to events, and these later fall events I think are just going to be insane attendance wise.
That's right.
Which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that obviously we're over it and people have got the confidence to come to these events. But I mean, from a modeling point of view, you know, everybody's going to want to get out the house, so I agree with you. It's going to be really, really busy.
Yeah, I picture everybody coming up out of their basements covered in dust, you know,
That's right.
the zombie look, and just kind of wandering right outside and starting to go to the flying field.
Right. So nothing will have altered for Marvin then.
Exactly. That's funny.
Yeah, those guys down south of a different breed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But as I said, if you need anything, just put your order in and those guys will deliver overnight for you.
Perfect. That's awesome. So I've been following a lot of your stuff. I mean, I know obviously this year's been a little bit different, but there's Dave Hart showing up.
Hey, Dave.
Can't wait to hang out on the big red deck.
Yeah. We look forward to seeing you, Dave. The red deck is a little bit quiet at the moment, but we were actually thinking of doing something like this and trying to get everybody involved. The red deck, for those people that don't know, it's just the deck that we've got at home that's developed its own personality. We've had weddings on it, we've had parties on it, we've had everything on this thing, and it's basically developed its own sort of aura around it. But we've definitely had some great times on there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of being down there yet, but I've seen the pictures and heard the stories, so I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've been following you guys. I know you and Curtis Swisher get a lot of time to do a lot of stuff, and I've been noticing some of your giant Top Gun airframes. Yeah. And I just want to give kudos out to you guys for doing such a fantastic job on those. They really turned out awesome. So
yeah. Well, obviously we're a bit disappointed that Top Gun's been postponed, but at least there is a new date in the diary. And we always try to support the event strongly. And this year we were doing in the team event, a slightly different airplane. So once again, really unusual plane. With the delay now, obviously it'll give us a bit of time to get it done. But when we have the build nights, we always have a good time. So, particular thanks to Curtis, Chad, Todd, and all the other guys that get involved as well. I'm not so sure we get a lot done, but we certainly have a good time through it.
Well, I've been keeping an eye on it, and I can tell you there's been a lot getting done as well. So, and it's good that you have that camaraderie with those guys to be able to come in and do stuff like that. So on that note, one of the things I want to make sure that I put out there is make sure during this time, this is for everybody listening, make sure you're still supporting your hobby. I know everybody's in uncertain times. I know there's a lot of people that aren't able to work full time or at all. But do what you can to support the hobby. Make sure you're taking time to support what you can. The online stores, they're all pretty much open. Make sure you visit them. Make sure you get what you need from the folks that you need to get your stuff from, so that when this all clears, they will all still be able to be valid as quickly as possible once this returns to normal. Because I've got a funny feeling, and me and Mark and Renee were just talking about this yesterday, that when this all clears, the amount of busy is going to quadruple, because I think it's going to get crazy. I really do. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Don't forget that we're out here and we're doing what we can. Yeah. So I'm going to flip over here. I know Steve had told me that the website is going to actually go through a renewing process. It's actually going to end up being just modelprops.com when they're all done and said with this. But in the meantime, you can come on to their website. Make sure you support Bob's Hobby Shop. Or Bob's Hobby Center. That's on Facebook. Get over there and like them on Facebook so you can keep track of what's going on over there. And then as of right now, for the time being, until everything changes, all of Falcon products are on here, and you can browse and find what you need for just about any airframe that you need. They are all on here. There hasn't been. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was going to say, it's like everything. These redesign of websites looks easy until you come to do it. There's a huge amount of work in it, but basically we have Falcon propellers, which is purely the Falcon products. And then we have Just Model Props, which covers the Falcon and the Zor products. So, but what we're doing is we've done a total rewrite of both of the websites. Despite the fact that they continue to be successful, we just want to try to bring them up into where we are at the moment and make them a little bit more interactive. But the thing is, we carry in stock now, way over 26,000 propellers at any one stage. And just keeping on top of that is a real challenge. So hopefully, the website with the new ordering system will help us just get on top of that a little bit better.
Yeah, and coming from somebody that monitors and maintains our website at Boss USA, that can be a huge chore in and of itself to make sure that everything runs right and make sure that all the stuff that's supposed to be up is up and quantities are available and everything's there for the customers. So, bear with them during this transition. I'm sure there'll be some issues. There always are with these things. If you run across anything, just make sure you reach out to them and let them know, hey, this link's broken or that link's broken. Anybody that's ever done that can tell you it's a beast to get everything lined up and live all at the same time. So
it is. But as said, we've been working with a great guy who's been doing it for us, who's actually a hobbyist himself. But like everything else, there's a lot more work on it than you ever thought.
Yep, absolutely. Well, do you have any specific products you wanted to talk about, or?
Yeah. We've this year we were going to bring out a whole range of new products. Some of them we have been able to bring to market already, and they are proving to be very, very successful. But as you know, we do a huge range of propellers. We do standard wood ones, we do pushers, we do 3 blades, we do World War I, World War II, we do civilian style, we do composite propellers. We do a lot of work for the military and industrial applications. So, the business just continues to grow. But on the sort of model side, a product that's very popular is the World War II propeller. This is the American version, which we've got this in a variety of sizes and continues to be really popular. What we've also done, I'll have to just bend over, excuse me. We've also brought out a German style one as well, a paddle style. We've only got 3 sizes of these just at the moment, but if you look at the shape of the blade, it really does mimic the blades on the World War II German aircraft, and this propeller is proving to be very popular at the moment. We're just in the throes of making it. We've already got it for the 55s, the 85s. We've just got the 120s sort of on the way. And then also at the same time, we're doing all the propellers for the Moki engines, the Valashes, and all the popular new engines that are out there. So from that point of view, if you're looking for a really high quality German World War II propeller, then we've got a possible solution for you. Yeah. And then equally on the World War I side, our favourite propellers, the scimitar style. And what we've done with these now, with the Falcon version of it, we've just weathered them ever so slightly. I don't think you'll be able to see that, but when you actually get the propeller, it doesn't look as though it's brand new out of the box. We've just weathered it very subtly. So that's another enhancement. And then also from a spinner point of view, as you know, we do a huge amount of composite spinners. So it's a composite cone with an aluminium backplate, which is the only real way of doing a composite spinner. You can't do a composite spinner with a composite backplate. It just doesn't work. But what we've done now is, this was the standard style, and now we've brought out the more pointed style as well. And as you can see, we've got them in different colours. So, it's not for everybody, but if you're looking for that type of product, then we do have a good variety of them available. And then on the other side as well, just to make things even nicer, we've actually started painting the composite propellers. So we only actually do them in either full composite or white with a red tip. We have talked about doing other colours, but for the moment, those are the standard ones. So it just enhances the look of the model. The performance is exactly the same. As you can see, we only paint the front of it, but you can see the quality of the product here, absolutely 100%. And then while we're on, we get loads of requests for spinners. People seem to think we're the spinner gurus. And in all honesty, we do have a massive supply of spinners. So we've also got some really unusual ones as well that people are looking for. So if you see these here are 3-bladed for like a Focke-Wulf 190. We do a smaller version for BF models. But if you'd speak with Chad or with Curtis, they're always around rooting in the boxes because we carry such a huge range of spinners. We don't put them on the website because there are so many of them. But if you are looking for that unusual spinner, give us a shout. There's a chance that we may have it. I mean, just as an example, we just picked these up, some zero spinners. Once again, very, very difficult to get hold of. So if you are looking for an unusual spinner and can't find it, give us a shout at Bob's Hobby Centre, and we'll gladly root through the box and see if we've got it for you.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. You guys have got all kinds of stuff here. I know one thing that we get a lot of requests for, and if it's something that I think we've spoken about it a couple of times, a lot of folks are looking for spinners for their M1 Bristols. Right. So I know that's something that we have talked often back and forth about, and something that I'd like to see developed at some point. That's one of the things people have a struggle finding is they can't find anybody that produces one of those. So yeah.
I mean, it is hard because the spinners. There's such a huge variety out there. But I mean, this week, I mean, we've sold 3 spinners where people said, I would never have thought I would have found that spinner. And, it's often just at the bottom of the box. So
right.
Give us a shout on it. It takes us probably 24 hours to root through the box and send you a picture, and then you send me a picture back and all the rest of it. But I'm just saying that, there's a massive supply of spinners there.
Yeah, and I've personally watched that experience happen at shows at Joe Nall and at Toledo, where somebody will come up and ask for something, and you see Julie disappear underneath the table and dive into the boxes and come out 10 minutes later with what they were looking for. It's actually kind of funny to watch because she always knows right where it's at. It might be at the bottom of the specific box, but she can always pretty much tell you which box it's in.
So. Well, it's like everything else. I mean, like when we're preparing for these shows, there's a huge amount of work in the preparation, and we're meticulous with what we've taken and what we predict the sales will be. And then at the end of it, we'll often walk around and say, well, let's put 2 of those in and 1 of those in, and just in case.
Yeah, we do the same thing on our end. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then often, it works, and people, obviously it's great if we can satisfy the customer's request while we're there at the show.
Yeah, it never fails. We'll pack up the box, and you've seen how we travel. We've got a very good crew at the shop that takes care of making sure everything gets packed, and inevitably we'll pack the entire 40-foot trailer full of stuff, and we'll get there and we'll unpack and we'll set up. And the second guy in the booth says, "Hey, did you bring any of these?" And we won't have them with us. It happens.
I mean, I may be totally wrong on this, and Mark's been very kind and offered me to come up several times, and I will come up. But I mean, you guys, when you're all together, you always seem to have a great time.
We have a ball.
I'm sure that isn't the case all the time, but
what? That's the thing, Steve, and that's the reason why a lot of times we don't get a lot of stuff done, because it derails relatively quickly. we go in there with an agenda, and it doesn't take long, and that agenda is shot, and we're working on something else.
Well, I can understand that with Mark, definitely. Yeah,
it's awesome.
We just had a chat with Johnny. So, Julie just sent Julie some birthday wishes. So it was great to hear with him. But, it'd be good. I'd love to see you guys doing a podcast just with the normal daily work at Balsa USA. And that's something that we've talked about. Yeah, the thing is, I know I couldn't survive because I couldn't stand all the critique all the time.
I'm used to it.
I'd go from a 6'3" ex-Welsh rugby player to a quivering wreck in the corner.
I don't believe that for a second, because Julie's right there with you, and I've seen how that works. Steve will be off talking to somebody, and Julie's packing the truck or unpacking the truck or doing whatever. You can't stand still for 10 seconds. Yeah. So
well, it's
that's
interesting.
awesome.
I was watching your interview with Matt Chapman the other day, which was really good. And Matt was saying, he said, "You know what? I've got 25,000 flying hours." Well, I just did a quick calculation. I've been married to Julie now for just over 300,000 hours. So I think I deserve a medal.
You should get a medal. Actually, you know who deserves the medal is her. She needs a medal and a plaque and a national holiday named after herself. So that's what needs to happen. Because she's like my wife. She is the rock that keeps everything stable.
Oh, I'm just getting dirty looks now. So
big trouble.
Yeah, but there we go. 25,000 hours worth of flying, which is a huge amount. But been married now for well over 300,000 hours.
That's crazy. Very, very good. Congrats.
Here. She says, "Yeah, we all do the work. We all know who does the work." I said, "It's like everybody says, yeah, we've got the icon on the website that says Ask Steve, and it'll be, Ask Steve, and Steve will ask Julie."
So outside of the props and the spinners, I know you guys have been carrying a lot of the Boomer RC stuff. Yeah. Is that something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, Boomer RC is a very innovative company out of Australia. And, we've had a great relationship with them for a number of years. And we're actually the USA warehouse for them. So all of the stock in America is in our warehouse here. And what will happen is that, they'll get the orders and we'll ship the orders out from here. So it doesn't happen all the time, because there are times when, they may have product that we don't. But, Boomer RC, great company, lots of innovative products there, really simple ones to very sophisticated ones. I mean, just as an example, the one I like a lot is the multiple servo one. This does 4 servos. Really simple and effective, but saves a load of time. But they also do, particularly for the jet market, very high-end gyros and power boards, and they are superb to work. They actually work very well, the product does. Very cool. If you're looking for a Boomer RC product, obviously order it through the website, or if you want, give us a call direct, and we'll be more than happy to help out.
Perfect. So again, make sure you stay tuned for the website changes. That's going to be justmodelprops.com when it's all ready to launch. And I would assume that it's not going to be too much longer and it'll be live. So make sure you guys take note of that. And don't forget to check out Bob's Hobby Center and Falcon Props. So we're getting along about the 35-minute range. I think that's probably going to wrap us up.
Okay.
I want to thank Steve for coming on. I want to thank Julie for standing on the backside of the computer and handing products for you to show on the screen. Make sure we let Julie know a happy birthday and that we're all missing the time that we get to spend together at Toledo. I really appreciate you guys being on.
Okay, well, thanks very much. And once again, everybody be safe out there. And thank you all very much for the continued support that you give us. We are very, very humble and grateful for it.
Awesome. Well, don't forget, today and tomorrow and Sunday is the Balsa USA Toledo 2020 Keep Calm and Build on sale. Use coupon code, all caps, Toledo 2020, no spaces, on checkout, and you will get show pricing for all kits and accessories that we would have brought to the show. And you will also be entered in to win a 1/3 scale Sopwith Pup fully laser cut and redesigned kit from Balsa USA.
Hey, and don't forget one other thing. Don't forget we're the Southern Warehouse for Balsa USA. We've got
absolutely.
all the kits in the warehouse.
So if you're down there in the Florida area, Bob's Hobby Center is our distributor for the southern part of the United States. They carry a complete line of our kits and accessories. If there's anything you need and you're in that area, make sure you support Bob's Hobby Center and all that. And again, they are there and they are shipping and they are available to help. So just make sure you contact them.
Just say hello to Bill. Hey, Bill, good to see you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And as always, thank you very much for watching.
You're welcome.
Happy building.
Thanks for everything you're doing, Joe.